Hello everyone. Hello Onesi, hello Karasu, hello Mari, hello Silvertongue, hello Kamam. How are my lovely disciples this evening? Let me just that's fine. I'm setting up my new work laptop as well. It took forever before, and then it failed during setup, so I had to reset it, so it's setting up again. But yeah, so that's happening in the background while I'm doing this. Doesn't really require any input from me, unless it fails again. Everything's working perfectly, no problems at all. How are y'all? Hope how you doing, everyone? You have a good day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever. I needed to hydrate more before the stream, but I didn't. So now I'm playing catch up. I got my big old jar of water next to me, guzzling down on it. The joys of new tech. Yeah, my old laptop was working perfectly fine, but I got emailed by IT and they were like it was like an automated help desk thing, like, you're eligible for a new PC. Put in your PC credit here. So I put in my PC credit and I got a new laptop, and they were like, do you want any accessories? I was like, nope, I don't, thank you though, bye. They expressed it over, and it's working on setting up. These things are like locked down to hell and back, so it's just like, you know, put in the company email and whatnot, and then let her rip. It'll set itself up. Had a great time yesterday. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Oh man. So do my own thank you very much. Yeah. No, the work laptop, as far as like, I don't really plug it into anything that I own, if I can help it. But yeah, I don't know. I mostly just like leave it in my backpack for work, since I'm, you know, constantly on the go, and I mostly use it for manuals and firmware, and then like miscellaneous trainings that the company throws at me. It's really all I do. But yeah. How was my day been? Whew. Actually pretty good. No complaints. Had a pretty short day at work, got home, caught up on some work for the job, caught up on some work for the channel, long-term work that fruits of my labor will not be seen for quite some time. That's okay. And honestly, like, I'm kind of at a point with some stuff where I'm like, I'm doing a bunch of stuff, right? But it's stuff that I'm like, I'll make it, and then I rip it apart almost down to nothing and redo it again, if that makes sense, you know? Yeah. I think I've courage to try something new after that job experience program, but my fandom's for arcades to play first. Well, I hope you are able to find work and you know, push towards being a little more self-sufficient there. And I know I felt pretty good when I became truly self-sufficient. Yeah, if I can talk. How am I off tomorrow? Or do you get next Friday off too? I have Friday and Monday off. So what I did previously is I put in for some vacation, but the way I split it up is I basically gave myself a bunch of 4-day weekends. I say a bunch, but like 5 or 6, something like that. I'd have to like look in my calendar to see what they all are. I've forgotten most of them, if I'm to be honest. So, but I also gave myself like I think 3 days off in the week before Thanksgiving. I didn't take the week of Thanksgiving because I didn't want to overlap with someone else who is the only other person who can cover one of the accounts we have. So I was like, well, I can't overlap with him because if I overlap with him, then that account just doesn't have coverage. So, yeah. So I have Friday off and I have Monday off. I am planning to... My plan is to start putting together a stream schedule for next week on Saturday, and hopefully have it out like Saturday night. So that way people can, you know, be ready for the fact that I'll be streaming Monday. I have not decided if I'm gonna stream at like the noon time on Monday, or if I want to stream at like, you know, just earlier. Next Friday is the 4th. Oh, I have the 4th off. Oh, next Friday is the 4th. Oh, shit. Yes, I have next Friday off too. Well, shoot. I might do a, maybe I'll do a 4th of July stream. Ooh, what would I play for... I would assume I would play a game on 4th of July. But like what? You know what? You know what I could play on the 4th of July? Hold on. Also, we're doing a lot of pre-show yapping today. Let's see. You know what I could play on the 4th of July? Yeah, boy. Hold on. Oh, I probably shouldn't show it on stream. I'll link it in the Discord. I'll put it under gaming. I'm gonna think about this. It's 40% off right now. But I'm thinking Lollipop Chainsaw. Oh man. Yeah. It's zombie apocalypse and it's absolutely zany over the top, and it's about a cheerleader, you know, cheerleader with a chainsaw taking on the zombie hordes. So that might be a fun like one-off. So yeah. Let me shrink that, get that out of the way. Buffy the Zombie Slayer. Yeah, kinda. Alright, let me... So. That said, let's get into talking about Pushing Ice. So, if you didn't read it, spoilers. Oh, why is it not showing? Hold on. There we go. Now we're showing. But yeah, if you didn't read it, spoilers, obviously. Sorry, not sorry. I won't spoil, like, the ending too much. Because I think the ending is very good and should be experienced. But, in fact, honestly, a lot of the stuff in this book I did not remember. This being a book that I had previously read a long time ago. I was very happy to reread it though. It was as good as I remember it being. Yeah, some of the books that we have been reading, I was like, man, maybe I'm just not as much into reading as I was before. I picked up this book and immediately like settled in. I was like, yeah, no, I'm having a good time. So I think we're just gonna have to be I'm gonna have to be a bit more selective on the suggestions, I think. So it took me about halfway through to get into it, but I ended up liking it. I'm glad. I'm glad you ended up liking it. I'm very sad that it took you like halfway through to get into it, because like, I'm not gonna lie, like, and this happened to me when I first read it. Like when I read this when I was like 15, 16, something like that. But like from the first chapter, from like the first like 2 pages, I was in. Like this thing had me hooked. First published 2005. I honestly probably read it the year it was published or shortly after. Something like that. I'd have to look. Yeah. But yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyways, sorry, I like my brain just completely reset there. Give me one moment. We're coming back. But anyways, from the moment I started reading, I was like, yep, all right, I'm in. Let's go. Let's get on this ride. So, for those of you who have not read the book but are here anyways, brief summary. Brief summary. Pushing Ice, it's about a crew of space miners are the only ones close enough to the moon Yanis when it reveals itself to be an alien spaceship. That's the premise of the book. There's like here, let me zoom in. It occurs to me that like you guys can't read very well here. All right, so basically that's the premise. There you go. It's a crew of space miners. They're in a spaceship way out into the solar system, and they're mining an asteroid for ice. And that's why it's called Pushing Ice, because they push ice, right? Through the solar system to, you know, feed space stations and whatnot, plenty of water. So that way, you know, people can have water. You can create oxygen from that water, so on and so forth. Very good stuff. But so that's a bit of a, so their job is a big deal, but it's also very dangerous, which, you know, ironically ends up making them very well prepared for what comes next. And they end up chasing Yanis because they're asked to, and the crew ends up deciding to go along with it in exchange for like a lot of money. Long story short, they get caught up in some sort of like wake that Yanis is creating as they approach, and they get stuck hitching a ride all the way to an alien structure. We push ice, it's what we do. Those lines came up a lot. Yes, it was one of like that is a very core thing in the book. Is like this minor mentality of like, this is what we do. We push ice. We do the hard, dirty work that no one else wants to do, and we make it happen. And that mentality, honestly, is what carries these people through when they are trapped in the field that Yanis is creating, and they have to land and try to survive. And they build a society from a crew of space miners somehow. And they live and they have children, so on and so forth. But the this is all very interesting, but there's something else to note about this book is that there is very liberal use of time skips. So which worked out quite well. Time skips, I can be kind of iffy on them sometimes, but the way Alistair Reynolds used them here is quite good, I think, because he showed the critical moments. Because, like, you know, when they got caught in the wake, when they land and you know, are like, all right, it's time to like make a life for ourselves, and then they time skip to a point where they've sort of got things together and there's some struggles, and then, you know, they keep doing a few time skips here and there. But there is a lot of the book, a significant section of the book takes place in that first chase, and during that first chase there is a lot of intrigue and betrayal. This is very much so a space drama. So in that, so the book kind of occurs in, I would call it like 4 acts, I think. Actually, wait. It is a 4-act structure. The time skip sort of mirrored the time dilation that was happening. All that time was passing back on Earth. Oh, way even more was passing, honestly. Like, so much time passed that like, slight spoiler, the human race ceased to exist within that time. So we ended up with a 4-act structure, I think, because we have we have 4 acts, so 4 acts. So time flew by. So one of the things that Alistair Reynolds is like a physicist, like and whatnot, so he likes to inject a lot of like actual hard science into his science fiction that he writes, and that includes time dilation. So because when you go faster, time moves slower. That's kind of like the theory there. So Act 1. So Act 1, we'll call it The Approach. Can I? The Approach. I'll extend this out a little bit. So during Act 1, we kind of we get introduced to the crew. At least most of the people who are gonna matter throughout this series. Obviously we don't meet the whole crew, but you know, we get the highlights, right? During this introduction, we meet Bella and Svetlana. Now, Bella and Svetlana are the 2 core, like, here, let me make this a little bigger. I'm like looking over, I'm like, that's not readable. So Bella and Svetlana are the 2 like core, what's it called? 2 core characters. I would say they're like, I would argue that these 2 are the co-protagonists. And yeah, they were something else. Best friends, so on and so forth. They were absolutely like 100% best friends. However, there was an accident on the ship when they're pushing it to go super fast, and something breaks off the ship, and this causes some damage. And so Svetlana thinks that they leaked some fuel, and that there's not as much fuel as the company that owns the ship is telling them there is. And they think that the data's being she thinks the data's being doctored and whatnot, and brings it to Bella, who is the captain. And so for context, Bella is the captain of the ship, and Svetlana is the chief engineer. And Svetlana's like, hey, we're being lied to. If we want to live, we need to turn the ship around now. So, spoilers, Svetlana was right. However, Bella has her hands tied by procedure and the fact that she's not able to get, like, hard data that she can prove is correct. So Bella ends up getting fooled, and they end up not having enough fuel to turn back, and then they get caught in the wake of Yanis's departure from the system, right? So they end up there's a big argument on the ship. So betrayal leads company. Betrayal leads to Bella and Svetlana becoming enemies, creating a. I mean, there was a coup. What's it called? It's called creating a mutiny on the ship. This completely, like, as you said, Kamam, their conflict is the story. The entire story is basically these two people vying for control of this crew, of this crew that becomes a city, that becomes like this community, you know. Mutiny is, it is betrayal by the crew. It is the crew taking over the ship, right? So this is pretty bad. They touch down, and Svetlana ends up being in charge and taking control of everything. So, they land on Yanis. So, this leads to... We're gonna see if we can just do this. This leads to what I would call Act 2. I think this is like 4 acts. It might be closer to like 5 sections. But so hold on, and if I copy this and then we can just delete. Svetlana is in charge, and is slowly guiding the survivors and is keeping the survivors alive. So the other really brutal thing about this is that Bella is isolated far, far from the community, and is, gosh, it really is just like a, what's the name of it called? Solitary confinement? For God. I think she keeps her in there for like 30 years or something like that. It's like, it's a long time. Like, Bella is confined to a little tiny dome out in the middle of nowhere for years. Because Svetlana refuses to allow her back into the community, even though they need every set of hands they can. Even with that, Svetlana is not willing to do anything to, like, even be nice to Bella. Yes. So there's another character, Perry. He's an EVA guy, extravehicular activity guy. And he's a miner through and through. And he is Svetlana's husband, but he's also a very reasonable man, and doesn't think that Bella should be kept in solitary confinement for years and years upon end. I actually don't remember if it's decades. For many years. We'll say many years. Yeah, and so he's kind of between a rock and a hard place, because he's like, hey, wife, maybe you're being a little bit too vindictive. Yeah. He did his best though. And he was, whenever he could, he was kind to Bella. But they really are just barely eking out survival through this, and trying to unlock the secrets of Yanis, trying to do anything they can to eke out a little bit of power from the ship. So that and that's really Act 2. There's a lot going on here in Act 2, but it's yeah, there's a lot. So one of the other things that happens near the end of Act 2 is one crew member, I forget his name, it's Jim. So Jim forces Svetlana to allow Bella to visit him on his deathbed. He gives Bella some info to use as leverage, so she can maybe one day return. So this is important. This is very important, because even though Svetlana's been in charge this whole time, there are still people who genuinely believe that Bella shouldn't be treated. He had some kind of terminal illness. Yeah, he had, he literally had brain cancer. I think that's what was going on with him. So, and he was the first mate. And he never stopped being loyal to Bella. He understood the decisions Bella made, even, you know, even if ultimately they ended up in many ways being the wrong decisions, right? So he never thought that Bella needed to be treated the way she was. So they do find the keys to what they need to survive. They're able to get a forge vat running so they can manufacture things they need. They're able to eke out some power from Yanis. So that's where we get to Act 3. Act 3 is when they arrive at their final destination. So Act 3 has a lot going on. So They have survived. And the crew has power, manufacturing, there are children, the future. I mean, at least there is one. Like, it might not be bright. Like, it might not be a bright future, but at least there is the possibility that they might, maybe, just be able to, like, eke out some sort of future living on this alien structure that they thought was a moon. So, and Jim is a popsicle. Yeah, they made Jim a popsicle. So in order to preserve some people, they froze them, right? And Jim is one of them. This is again important information. But again, Svetlana is still in command. Bella is still isolated. But shortly after they arrive where they are intended to be, which they have no idea that this happened. The only reason they knew they arrived anywhere is a hole appears in the shield that surrounds Yanis. Because a metal dome erupted around Yanis during Act 2, which I didn't cover, but it's a thing that happened. It alarmed them. It's a plot point. It's aliens. And they meet with these aliens, and eventually they, you know, they try to communicate. One guy gets crushed by gravity into basically a pancake, so they're like, oh no, what do we do about this? And Bella uses her little last piece of information to try and negotiate with Svetlana. And so she passes on Jim's final wishes of, hey, if you're gonna send anyone, send me, because maybe they might be able to put me back together, right? And then Svetlana you know, confirms that she's gonna do the deal, and then backs out of it at the last moment, betraying Bella again, because Svetlana can't let bygones be bygones, because, oh my god, these two women, mostly Svetlana, if I'm to be honest, mostly Svetlana. Oh my god, this is so big. That's what she said. So Svetlana is a bitch. I need this to be very big. Let's bold that. Oh, can I bold it? I don't know. Svetlana's a bitch. This is very important information. She's a bitch. A big old biggity bitch. She betrays Bella at literally every opportunity and assumes that Bella is gonna betray her at every opportunity. Meanwhile, Bella does basically nothing of the sort. Literally never betrays her. Like the only time she quote unquote betrays Svetlana is in Act 1 when she follows company procedure. And like, don't get me wrong, it was the incorrect decision. Svetlana was correct. She was right. However, like, you know, Bella was just doing what she thought was best. She wasn't like trying to like be mean to Svetlana or whatever. She wasn't out here just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna spite you because I hate you. No, that's Svetlana every single time. So Bella bargains, gives info. Svetlana betrays her. However, this bites her in the ass, so they send Jim up. The Jim popsicle up to the aliens. The aliens send Jim back, and he asks where Bella is. Cue Act 4. It is a 4-act structure. My man literally just used a 4-act structure. I never realized. Now we know. So, mind the burp. Woo. Yeah, reasonably irritated with Svetlana. So, Act 4, Bella's back in charge. Svetlana is exiled to an outlying town which she runs. Like, literally miles better deal than Bella ever had. Like, Svetlana in charge. Bella is isolated inside of a hut with barely enough power and oxygen and food to survive. Bella is in charge. Svetlana gets her own town. Wow. Man, I wonder which one of these people is the worst person. Like, holy shit. So key regeneration perks from the fountain heads. Yes. Aliens turn out to be friendly. Trade info on the human. Trade info. More advanced human tech. So basically, giving them more advanced versions of what they already have. So like, you know, they had supposedly run into the humans at some point, like, and they had like a snapshot of humanity that they could trade with the humans here, right? So they traded them some more advanced human tech, regenerations, more advanced human tech, news, media, etc. Regenerations, so people were able to basically regenerate themselves. I think that was really it. Trade info and regenerations. In exchange, they get energy from Yanis. So, because they can tap Yanis in more efficient ways to get more energy. But, basically now, humanity isn't just surviving. They're thriving. And it's all thanks to the aliens giving them all this tech, really, when it comes down to it. New tech, better access to better forge vats, more advanced forge vat blueprints, all this stuff. We need founding hens. I would like to be 25 again. Thank you very much. Right. So the big thing here is the regenerations. They are able to take anybody and basically turn back the clock and make their bodies go from being like 65. Like they made a doctor who was like in his 50s or 60s or something, and they turned back the clock and made him a little kid. That's how far back they can go. Absolutely wild. Now, why he wanted to be a child is beyond me, but whatever. Whatever floats your boat, or you know. But yeah, it's pretty freaking great. Stuff happens here. A lot of stuff happens here. There's more back and forth with Bella and Svetlana, and Bella supposedly betrays Svetlana again. Not really, and it's a whole thing. And then Svetlana actually betrays Bella, and long story short, Yanis gets lost. I don't want to go too far into Act 4 because I really do mean it when I want people to read this book. Like, I have skipped so much stuff just doing the absolute bare bones describing this book. But basically, this is the book. Svetlana is a bitch. Bella is not a perfect angel by any means. But my god, is she better than Svetlana? Holy shit. I cannot express how much I hate Svetlana. I cannot believe Svetlana was so stupid towards the end. Yeah, so Svetlana really, really fucks up. And she makes a decision that gets Yanis blown up. And she ends up getting exiled. And they're like spoilers for the very, very end, but she does leave, and she gets to leave the structure itself. And nobody else is able to, and they send back a little bit of info on the structure to you know, give one last gift back to humanity. So they have a map of the structure basically at the end of it, that they are in, and that's useful. It's not as good as having Yanis, but it's damn useful. But yeah, basically this is very much so a drama. We got two key players. We got Bella, who's doing her best, but makes tough choices that seem like they are callous and cruel. And Svetlana is a hot-headed, very emotional person who is often at the short end of the stick of these decisions, or perceives herself to be at the short end of the stick of these situations, of these decisions, and reacts with actually callous, cruel, and horrible actions. If you were gonna take anything out of this book, if I was going to take anything out of this book, it would be, consider that maybe, just maybe, other people are doing things for a reason, and that it's not all about you. Considering other perspectives is very important. And I think this book does a very good job of outlining what happens when two people can talk and do talk and communicate, but completely fail to understand each other's perspectives. well, rather, one person fails to understand the other's perspective. Because Bella, at every point, is pretty understanding of Svetlana. Not perfectly, but like, Svetlana makes no effort to ever understand Bella's situation at any point. And it's just astounding how fucking thick she is for how smart she is. But yeah. Really good book. I highly recommend it. If you did not read it and you're just listening to me yapping about it, I really recommend reading it. There's a lot of sci-fi stuff, but like at the core of this, it is a character drama. The sci-fi is the set dressing, right? But yeah. No, I really am quite pleased with this book. It's ironic because they started out as such good friends, and that was something that was like mentioned in the book. I forget the exact. It was in Act 1, that first section. But it was like the greatest of friends will turn to the greatest of enemies, right? So yeah, friends to bitter blood enemies. But it was good. It's so good. It's so good. Love this book. It's a very human story. It's just so like, and at every point I never felt like anything was forced, because that can be my problem a lot of the time with books where there's a lot of like drama going on, is the drama oftentimes feels forced. Like, it's like, well, why didn't they talk to each other like at all? Why did they just refuse to speak? You know, blah blah blah. No, in this one there are instances where people refuse to speak to each other, Svetlana and Bella in particular, but at no point do you ever feel like it's forced. Smooth balance. Yeah, the book is quite balanced. That's a good way of putting it. But it's like, it's just, it's written by a person who's not afraid to have people act like people. Who didn't take shortcuts when it came to that. You know? Because I feel like a lot of authors take shortcuts. Like, they'll have, like, something I really hate a lot of the time. There are instances where it's done well, but, like, 99% of the time, when I see a miscommunication plot, I am just aggravated. It's annoying. I genuinely find miscommunication plots extremely annoying. Do not like them. In this case, the miscommunication, technically there is miscommunication, but it's not because they didn't talk to each other. It's because two people talked to each other, had the same set of data in front of it, and came to two separate conclusions, which, oh my god, I don't know how to tell you this, but that happens all the time in real life. Like, holy moly, do I see that so often. And I love the way it was executed here. It's just such a very raw human story. So, good book. Go read it if you haven't. That said, we need to, there's a lot of technical sci-fi stuff. There's also lots of human interpersonal relationships and conflict. Yes, lots of stuff for you to dig your teeth into if you're a sci-fi nerd. If you're not a sci-fi nerd, I promise you, it ain't that bad. The technical stuff is there to fuel the interpersonal drama. But also, you know, if you're a sci-fi nerd, don't be afraid. There's plenty of good stuff in there. I feel like sci-fi nerds and non-sci-fi nerds can both appreciate this book, which is another Another plus for it. Just a fantastic book. New book time. Yes. So, to begin with, I loved both. I loved both too. I am going to take a look here on Goodreads. So we had, the last poll we had was back in January. And we had 5 options. One of them got selected, and I actually finished that book. Go on Goodreads, and I'm gonna look at these again. And there's like a good chance that one or both of them's, or one or all of them is gonna get cut. So we had The Red Necklace, French Revolution #1. I can tell you right now, I don't want to read this. John Cho, Troublemaker. 12-year-old Jordan feels like he can't live up to the example his older sister set or his parents' expectations. When he returns home from school one day hoping to hide his suspension, Los Angeles has reached a turning point in wake of the acquittal of the police officers filmed beating Rodney King as well as shooting Oh Young Bak Ting, Latasha Harlins by a Korean store owner. The country is at the precipice of confronting its racist past and present. As tensions escalate, Jordan's father leaves a check on the family store, spurring Jordan his father's blah 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 blah. I'm like tempted by this. King of Grey, no whining bards. I like how you precipitate it with that. Thank you. I am having flashbacks. King of Grey. Goodreads. We'll take a look in a moment. We'll revisit this. Good chance that this is gonna get cut, but yeah, having flashbacks to that one book. Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah, I can do like I can do a bit of whining with my main characters, but not too much. I really genuinely do hate like actual petulant whining. After her brother Donnie's tragic death, Angela Solomon is instructed where to lay his ashes to bring peace to his restless spirit. She must journey and battle deviant supernatural beings, face her own traumatic past, and follow the rules of Hollow Forest to avoid the stalking creatures called the Canid Carry. With help from a mysterious ally, she fights to quiet more tormented souls than one. Tempted. Prophecy's truth. Da 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 da. Maybe a vote. Well, I'm trying to decide what's going to be in the vote, right? We are going to do a vote. I'm just trying to decide what will be in the vote. Because like I have to want to read it too. So I only want to put up stuff that I would potentially want to read. Lost track of everything that was in there. Yeah, I'm gonna drop a Prophecy's Truth. King of the Grey. They are the shadows we seek out of the corners of our eyes, the visions flickering past in the middle of the night. They are the elves, the fairies, and other legends of our creation. The grey abound around us, are part of us forever tied to our innermost thoughts. They seek to be truly real, to truly live, and for that they need a human anchor, a false king who can give them substance. In Chicago, Jeremiah Todman is chosen for that unwitting role. But even as he tries to come to grips with the existence of the Grey themselves, he will soon discover that while some represent but harmless dreams of men, others are their most deadly nightmares. Oh, he's done Dragonlance novels, Dragon Realm, Black City Saint series, 6 novels for Blizzard Entertainment's Diablo series, 6 works in the Warcraft universe. Interesting. Wow. Very seldom do I see no redeeming value in reading a book. This one was up there. I could forgive the story if it was supposed to be set up for a series, but even that's pushing it. I enjoyed the concept of a dark world that's hidden from the surface of everyday living, but I didn't think the plotline of the characters were developed enough to keep my interest. If you pass by this on the book stand, keep walking. Truly one of the all-time greats, an exciting roller coaster ride that kept me continually entertained, and also kept me company on my daily commute to and from work. One of my most favorite authors ever. Interesting. Let's see. No reviews. Wow. This is not a very truly worth reading. Yeah. I don't hate the idea of it. It is. Yeah, well, it's only got 2 reviews. Well, oh, 78 ratings. A lot of 4 stars, some 5 stars, a lot of. So mostly 3 to 5 stars. Okay, I mean, yeah, we'll put it on there. We'll keep Ashes. Does anyone else have another suggestion? If y'all don't, I will make one. That way we have at least 3 things on the list. And I am sure I can find something good. Because I have a lot of books rattling around in my brain. I don't remember a lot of them though, is the issue. I'm trying to remember some of like the really good stuff I've read back in the day. In case I'm not back in time, farewell. Alrighty. Thanks for dropping by. I really do appreciate it. There's that one. Do I want? Oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm trying to remember the name of this series. It was. Oh. Pendergast? Yes. So. Yeah, okay. I think it's... I'm trying to find one in particular. Archaeology. So there's Lincoln Child. Okay. Hold on. Did they do... I don't think it's technically part of the Pendergast Chronicles. So I think, hold on. If we look up on Goodreads, I don't want to sign up. I just want to search. Ah, here we go. I think this one was mostly Lincoln Child. Let me look up Lincoln Child. All right. Not Riptide. Maybe not. Maybe it was a Douglas Preston book. Sorry, I'm like working my way the long way around. It wouldn't be this one. I don't think it's Lost City of the Monkey Gods. More books by Douglas Preston. It's got to be in here somewhere. I could do Still Life with Crows, I'm thinking about. I do not remember the name of this book. Maybe it was Lincoln Child and I wasn't looking at the whole, because it wasn't Lost City of the Monkey God. Wait, unless it was this. This wasn't a Pendergast book, was it? No, it's not that. Sorry, I'm having issues. Wait. Oh, I think it was one of the Nora Kelly books. No, but it wasn't this one, but was it Thunderhead? Was it this one? Sorry, I am struggling here. This one. This is the one. I found it. I found it. Okay. Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child have written a lot of suspense thrillers. They're horror books, essentially. They're very good. Thunderhead is very, very good. So it would be between like ancient Native American civilization that is only just now been found, and their ruins have a horrible mystery contained within that is potentially very deadly. Alternatively, serial killer in Kansas. Of these two, I'm not sure which people would prefer. Serial killer in Kansas or spooky ancient civilization things. The first one, the ancient civilization things. I'm down with ancient civilization things. Ancient civilization. Okay. So, we will put 3 things into the poll then. Let me make a poll. Poll. All right. So, we want Ashes by Iona Whalen. We want King of Grey by Richard A. Knaak. And then we're going to do Thunderhead by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. They co-authored a lot of books, by the way. And they're very good, and a lot of them are interconnected. Like, this is absolutely interconnected with the Pendergast Chronicles, which is another series of theirs. You got a few days. We'll do a few days to vote. Duration 3 days. Like spooky supernatural stuff. Yeah, Thunder. Ooh, if you like spooky supernatural stuff, genuinely dive into Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child's works. Especially the Nora Kelly series is good. Pendergast series is also very good with that. There's, yeah. All right. With that, though, summer needs spooky stories, right? Every season needs spooky stories. Let's be real. But yeah, I had a good time. I hope you all had a good time. I am looking forward to what the next book could be. Vote now in the Discord. Is the bot running? Let's find out. In case people haven't joined the Discord, the bot isn't running. Wow, incredible. So glad. Here we go. I'll shield the Discord manually. One of these days, I'm gonna like figure out a way to make the bot run consistently, but like something about YouTube streams just breaks the damn bot, and I really don't know what it is. Yeah. Bot is asleep on the job. Yeah. I don't know. Like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, until next time, which will be tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time, I will be playing Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for the first time ever. Well, technically I booted it up to make sure it worked, but other than that, the first time ever. And we will be playing a bunch of that. I plan on going for a while. I'm gonna make myself some snicky snackies, and we're gonna go full gamer mode on that one. I'm really looking forward to it. But until then, take care of yourselves. Eat well, sleep well, hydrate, don't dehydrate. Posture check. Make sure you're not shrimped up. And until then, bye.